development of the pharynx and development of the thyroid gland. As you know, pharynx is a part of the throat behind the mouth and nose. It is a funnel-shaped tubular structure that develops from the cranial part of the foregut. Foregut is developed due to the cranial fold of the embryo at the end of the third week of intrauterine life. So here you can see the overgrowth of these four brain vesicles bring this buccopharyngeal membrane in the depression called the stomodium, also known as a primitive mouth. So this stomodium that bounded cranially by these four brain vesicles and caudally by this pericardial bulge. The primitive pharynx that lies caudal and dorsal to this stomodium, and this primitive pharynx has four parts. Here you can see this is the floor, this is the roof, and there are the two lateral walls. Okay, so there are the four parts of the primitive pharynx. Now, this primitive pharynx related cranially to these four brain vesicles, caudally, and on the dorsal side it is related to this notochord. Here it is in pink color line. Okay, and caudally it related to the developing heart, and on the ventral wall on the cephalic side it is bounded by this buccopharyngeal membrane. Now this buccopharyngeal membrane, which is a bilaminar fold that disappear or rupture at the 26th day of intrauterine life. Okay, so here is a sagittal section, okay, in which you can see the primitive pharynx. Now it has ventral wall, it has dorsal wall also known as a roof, and the two lateral wall that related to the splanchnopleuric mesoderm and ectoderm, surface ectoderm. So that is about the primitive pharynx. Now, as you know, initially there is no name. Okay, this is the 22nd day of embryo. This is the lateral view. So here you can see the four brain vesicles and this pericardial bulge. In between there is stomodium. There is no neck that formed at this stage. So at the 4th and 5th week, during that there is a formation of mesenchymal bar, okay, mesenchymal tissue that aggregates and form a arches-like structure, okay, that form the pharyngeal arches or brachial arches. Okay, the development of these brachial arches it is the most important characteristic feature that help in the development of head and neck. So this pharyngeal arches that develop craniocaudally in the sequence. Initially, subsequently there are the 6 pharyngeal arches developed. Okay, but the 5th arch is small and rudiment. Okay? Now this mesenchymal bar that extend from this dorsal to extend on ventrally and medially and in the midline, and it fuse with each other, corresponding bar fuse with each other, and it form the pharyngeal apparatus. Okay, so this pharyngeal bar that support the lateral wall as well as the ventral wall of the pharynx. Now when you cut through this, here you can see the floor of these pharyngeal arches. Okay, now these pharyngeal arches inside it is lined by the endoderm. Okay, endoderm. So here the endoderm is formed the pouch in between these arches. Here you can see this is the first arch. Okay, this is the first, this is the second arch, okay, this is the third, fourth arch, okay. And here you can see this is the, in between these arches there is endodermal depression known as a pharyngeal pouch and surface ectoderm. It form the cleft, okay. So here is 1, 2, 3 and 4 cleft, okay. Likewise endodermal pouch is a 1, 2, 3 and 4 number, okay. Now so this is the floor of this pharynx, okay. So this structure. Now this pharyngeal arch is derived from the mesenchymal tissue, okay, that is derived from the mesoderm as well as migration of the neural crest cells. So the core is formed by this mesenchymal tissue, and also there is a nerve and also there is a artery that form the head and neck, okay, the muscular structure that form the head and neck structure. So now the other structure that is developed in the floor of the pharynx. These three structures are, one is these rudiments of developing tongue, okay, these are the rudiments. This is the elevation, okay, medial, lateral elevation, medial elevation, and this is the hypobranchial eminence that fuse to form the tongue. Now behind this medial lingual swelling, okay, also known as a tuberculum in part, behind there is a depression on the floor, okay. This depression is known as a thyroid diverticulum, okay. Thyroid diverticulum deepens to form a thyroglossal duct, and it forms the thyroid gland, okay. Now third feature is a furcula of Fish or laryngotracheal groove, okay. This laryngotracheal groove, it deepens to form a laryngotracheal diverticulum, and this laryngotracheal diverticulum ultimately form the respiratory system. Now here in this sagittal section of embryo, the dorsal wall, okay, dorsal wall of the pharynx, also known as the roof of the pharynx, initially it encodes on the notochord. Subsequently, straightening to the notochord form the mucus diverticulum. This mucus diverticulum is present as a pharyngeal bursa or pouch of Laska, okay, in the adult, opposite the nasopharynx. Now, the definitive pharynx that form after this pharyngeal apparatus that form its whole structure, okay, and also there is a formation of nasal cavity and oral cavity and also the hard palate, okay. So this primitive pharynx that divide into three parts, which opposite to the nasal cavity that's known as a nasopharynx, which opposite to the oral cavity that's known as a oropharynx, and related to the larynx is known as a laryngopharynx. So these are the three parts of the pharynx, okay, definitive pharynx. Now the development of the thyroid gland. Now thyroid gland develop from three sources. These are the median thyroid elements, lateral thyroid elements, okay, ultimobranchial body. The median thyroid elements that form a thyroid follicle, okay. The lateral thyroid elements that check the position of the thyroid gland, okay. It arrests the median thyroid elements at the upper part of the trachea, when it reaches the upper part of the trachea. Ultimobranchial body that form the parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland. Now, the one thing you should know that caudal pharyngeal complex is formed by the fusion of the ventral part of the fourth pharyngeal pouch and the remnant of the fifth pharyngeal pouch. So these two components fuse to form the caudal pharyngeal complex. Three components of this caudal pharyngeal complex are: first is a thymic elements that incorporate in the formation of the thymus. The second is the lateral thyroid elements that also help in the formation of the thyroid gland. Okay, and the third is the ultimobranchial body that form the parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland. Now, this is the floor of the pharynx. Okay, this is the floor of the pharynx, and within which you can see this is the different swelling that fuse to form the tongue. So this is lateral lingual swelling, this is the medial lingual swelling, that's also known as a tuberculum impar. Okay, just caudal to the tuberculum impar, there is a foramen cecum. Okay, at this part, the endodermal cell proliferate. This cell proliferate to form the median thyroid elements. Okay, median thyroid elements. Now, these cells that evaginate, okay, these cells evaginate to form the diverticulum. Okay, this diverticulum that deepen to form the thyroglossal duct. So this thyroglossal duct that passes through the substance of the tongue, okay, that descend in the midline, passes just in front of the hyoid bone in the midline. It passes just in front of the laryngeal cartilage. Okay, when it reaches proximal part of the trachea, it bifurcate. Okay, it form a bilobed mass. Okay, this bilobed mass of median thyroid elements that fuse with these little thyroid elements. Okay, that is from the caudal pharyngeal complex. Okay, it fuse with these median thyroid elements. Okay, and arrest at the descent of the thyroid gland. Okay, so this is the fourth pouch and this is the third pouch. Okay, the dorsal part of the fourth pouch that form the parathyroid tree, while the dorsal part of the third pouch that form the parathyroid tree. Now, the proliferation of the cell in the just caudal to the tuberculum impar, it start at the 24th day of intrauterine life. Okay, now cell duct that disappear. Okay, only its opening, okay, that represent in adult life as a foramen cecum. Now the anomalies of the thyroid gland. Now thyroglossal cyst and the thyroglossal fistula. Okay, so the part of the thyroglossal duct may remain patent. Okay, that form a cyst. When this cyst open on the skin, that form a thyroglossal fistula. Okay, when the caudal part of the thyroglossal duct may remain patent, and that form the pyramidal lobe. Now, the abnormal changes in the position of the thyroid gland, anomalies in the position of the thyroid gland. So, thyroid gland that develop within the, just underneath the submucosa of this tongue. So, that is the sublingual thyroid gland. Okay, it may within the substance of the tongue. Okay, that is known as a lingual thyroid. It may just above the hyoid bone. In that condition, it is known as a suprahyoid thyroid gland. It is just below the hyoid bone. In that condition, it is known as a infrahyoid thyroid gland. It may in the thoracic cavity. It may just behind the sternum. Okay. So that is about the anomalies in the position of the thyroid gland. Okay. Now sometime it may be present in the posterior triangle of the neck. Okay. Now the accessory thyroid gland tissue is found nearer to the thyroid gland. Agenesis of the thyroid gland. Agenesis means failure of thyroid, formation of thyroid gland. It may be complete agenesis where the failure of thyroid gland is there. Okay, or it may be partial. There may be the hemiagenesis, the one of the lobe is not developed. Okay, or there may be the agenesis of isthmus. Isthmus is not formed. Okay, so these are the different anomalies of the thyroid gland. Now, anomalies may cause clinical functional disorder. Okay, so surgeon should keep these anomalies in mind during the surgery. Okay, thank you.